Bill, Tim, Clinton, KB. The return of the NFL. You guys remember football, right? The continued golden aura around Simone Biles. And what is wrong with United States 3-on-3 hoop teams? You know what? Maybe these four guys could put together a team. I need a rebounder. Kevin, I know you can score, but you're going to have to pass. There's got to be some passing.
No, I'm not doing that.
Pass it to
I'll
me.
play defense.
Pass it to me.
I'll play great defense.
Can't beat anybody.
Good for 5 fouls, for sure.
We're good at 5
Loop it
on
up.
5, not so much 3-on-3. We'll get to that in a moment.
Loop it up.
Tonight, live professional football, kind of. The Hall of Fame game pits the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears. Shout out to Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, and Steve McMichael, all going into the Hall. Houston was last year's darling in the league, and something the Bears, with the first overall pick, Caleb Williams, could be this year's. However, we won't see Caleb tonight for the Bears as Matt Eberflus is sitting the rookie. Clinton, you're in Chicago. You're all over this. How does this decision sit with you?
It sits just fine with me. It sits just fine with people in Chicago. Folks here are more concerned about the people actually getting busts in Canton than they are the guys playing on the field. Now, that said, I do think there's a lot to be figured out in terms of who the Bears are. Shane Waldron comes over from the Seahawks as the offensive coordinator. So while you've got the Ferrari, proverbially, in Caleb Williams, you still got to figure out whether or not this team can run. And so I do think there's some value in some of these lower-level guys because the Bears are not guaranteed to be some playoff team. They've still got to figure out who's going to be able to contribute from a depth standpoint. And Waldron, I think, is going to have the spotlight on him tonight from a play call.
Tim Kalisher, tell me why the number one overall pick, number one, can't play a few snaps in the first game.
You tell me why, because I've said that for years. I think he could play the first series.
Thank you.
You can call safe plays. You can throw the ball away. Heck, you can throw an interception if you're in trouble. It doesn't matter. You can avoid getting hit. And there are a lot of good quarterbacks on good teams through the years who do play or who have played in the first preseason. It's not going to make a big difference either way, but everybody obviously would love to see Williams, even if it's just for a series. There's really almost no risk in today's game if you do it right. And, you don't want to start the season behind the 8 ball. He's got to play a little bit in the preseason just to get to know his players.
All right, Bill Plaschke, you're a man of the people. People are paying tickets to go to the game. You want us to watch on TV, so Caleb Williams should play at least one series, right?
No, absolutely not. Tim, you said there's almost no risk. This is a football game.
Yeah,
There's
there's
plenty
a
of
risk.
risk.
We get it.
You don't need him out there against a bunch of scrubs trying to make a name for themselves. We don't need him to get hurt. We don't need him the receivers aren't playing. We don't need him with the second or third team offense. We need him at the start of the season. We need him during the season. We don't need him now. In fact, they shouldn't even play this game. Why are they even playing this game? Why is there a Hall of Fame game? They won't been practicing for 2 weeks.
There we go.
There's no baseball Hall of Fame game. There's no basketball Hall of Fame game. Why is there a Hall of Fame game?
Come on, Bill. It's an exhibition game. Kevin?
People at Canton.
Of course, Washington, D.C.'s finest Caleb Williams, a Heisman Trophy winner, should be playing in this game in the Hall of Fame game, which is where he'll be sooner or later, right? Come on, just unveil him for one series. Have him hand the ball off. Have him throw a screen pass, then have him go sit down. I mean, this is the only reason to watch this game is to watch Caleb Williams. You don't want to watch, as Bill just said, a bunch of scrubs. You want to watch a guy with a trophy.
Now, that's impressive. He already has him in the Hall of Fame, playing in the Hall of Fame. All right, Bill, give me one reason then to watch the game. Come on, one reason.
The new kickoff rule. I'm dying to see it.
There you go.
It looks like it's going to be madness. It's going to be great. I can't
That's
wait.
an answer. Tim, give me one reason.
Houston's got so many good receivers. They're not going to play their top 2 or 3. They're still going to play John Mechie, still play Noah Brown, still play some of those guys that C.J. Stroud found himself throwing to last year. I want to see that group.
Clinton, what do you got?
It's amazing. Devin Hester goes into the Hall of Fame, a guy who changed kickoffs, and now they've changed the rule to something that he wouldn't be able to do.
Very good point. KB, one reason to watch.
The new kickoff rule. I've seen it in the other league. I want to see NFL guys do it for real.
Yeah,
Looks kind of weird.
Come on, one series for Caleb Williams. What would be the big deal?
Thank you.
All right, we heard the horn. Let's move on. The headliner of the Olympics today, the headliner of sports today. Simone Biles winning the individual all-around gymnastics gold. She beat Brazilian Rebeca Andrade and teammate Suni Lee, who earned bronze. For Biles, double gold now with individual apparatus events still to come later this week. Bill, what did we just witness?
We witnessed one of the greatest Olympic performances of all time. She broke by 6 gold medals for gymnastics. She broke a record that it stood for 120 years.
Yeah.
She's the oldest gymnast to win a gold medal in I don't know how many years. She's come back from the mental issues in Tokyo. She was down in this event, and she came in the audience and she won the floor exercises to clinch it. So dramatic. Michael Phelps is the greatest Olympian of all time, but I think Simone Biles, well, what she's done and what she's overcome and all she's done at her age, she's the greatest female Olympian of all time, yes.
Kevin Blackistone, we were all watching it together. What was your takeaway?
Well, this is one of the greatest comebacks in the history of sport. I mean, that's what we just witnessed. Here is a woman who, for her entire life since she was basically a toddler, practiced gymnastics. And all of a sudden, at the top of her game a few years ago, it went away. Poof, just like that. We couldn't believe what was going on. We couldn't even think that she might even come back. She talked about the danger of this sport. Yet, she did come back, and she climbed back to the top of the mountain. And not only that, she's been very representative, of course, of what women athletes, particularly in gymnastics, have gone through these past several years. She was one of the women who came out and testified against Larry Nassar and what he did to the rest of the women on the gymnastics team. Very courageous of her, and a very courageous comeback.
Clinton, we know the Olympics, it becomes a television show. And the last event, the last individual gymnast to go happens to be Simone Biles on the floor exercise. It was dramatic. And then when the score was posted, there was a lot of emotion.
I'll build upon what KB said in terms of who Simone Biles is. From a performance standpoint, she knows how to meet the moment. She was one of the people that stood up courageously and faced her abuser. She was also the person that talked frankly, as you said, about mental health and humanized what these young women do in order to get gold medals. For years, I felt like the general humanity around this sport was these little girls that we would bend and force them to do things in ways that made you feel almost bad for how they had to behave to compete. And now, the way that she's defended her teammates, the way that she's spoken up, the way she's just plain so popular is amazing to see in terms of what USA Gymnastics is. I echoed those sentiments earlier this week. I'm so happy that they managed to finally get the gold, and she got her individual award as well.
Tim Kalishaw?
I think it's worth mentioning Suni Lee. You really had two redemption stories for the American women, and she got the bronze.
Right.
And 2 years ago, she had the illness. She didn't look like she could ever compete again. But as far as Simone Biles, they had a graphic the other night in her floor routine. The top of her head was 11 feet 8 inches off the floor. That's roughly a 7-foot vertical jump off that mat.
Yeah.
She is probably the most amazing. Whether she's the best, you can debate and have Carl Lewis and Phelps and everybody, but she's probably the most amazing of all these athletes.
Well, Bill mentioned it, Tim, you mentioned it as well. Where does she rank among the great American Olympians when you think about Carl Lewis, Michael Phelps, Katie Ledecky? KB, take a stab at that.
Yeah, Katie Ledecky, but don't forget Allison Felix.
Yeah.
Allison Felix is in track and field, incredible. I think those names would be at the top of the list for me.
Clinton Yates?
That's where she is.
She's top one for me because, just the life she's lived. It's bigger than the golds and the performances. And I don't see Seth Rogen or Steph Curry showing up to watch some of these other people. She's a draw. Big-time American star.
All right. And, Tim, you were good with that? Michael Phelps?
Yeah,
Katie Ledecky?
I think when you talk about her, when you talk about great athletes of all time, forget the Olympics, Serena gets into those discussions. I think Simone Biles needs to be in
All
those
right, we
discussions.
just helped Bill out. That's going to be his next column. So, Bill, tell us exactly what you're going to write in your next LA Times column about the greatest American Olympian in the Summer Games.
Yeah, it's amazing. We've always looked at gymnasts, I think, a little bit as entertainers. She's made us look at them as an athlete. She's a tremendous athlete.
Yeah.
She's a powerful athlete. She's better than any athlete. She may be the greatest American athlete right now competing.
Folks, let me tell you something. The 5 of us are sitting around watching it live, and this is the way sports writers work. Within 2 seconds, we become experts at gymnastics. That's how quick it happens.
Absolutely.
I think she missed it. Oh, she
our skill.
missed a step right there. That could cost her.
She was out of bounds.
We'll see what Clark can buy and sell. 3-on-3 basketball.
Yellow flag on
We need
those.
players.
Didn't like that one landing.
Team.
I've got a question, so listen up. Why is the United States so bad at 3-on-3 basketball, or 3X as they call it? It's a question many are asking after the men's and women's teams are combined winless in 6 games as of tape time. The rosters are not filled with stars. On the women's side, Ryan Howard, De'Erica Hamby are good players in the WNBA. On the men's side, Jimmer Fredette, remember him? The only household name, and he hasn't played in the NBA in a while. But in the last Olympics, the women's team with Kelsey Plum, Jackie Young, Steph Dolson, and Alicia Gray won gold. So, Bill Plaschke, what is going on here, and how big of a deal is this?
This is a huge embarrassment. This is basketball. We should win. We should dominate.
That's right.
I don't care if it's 3-on-3 or 5-on-5 or 7-on-7. I don't care if you don't think it should be in the Olympics. It's in the Olympics. It's here. It's on TV. We need to dominate. We don't care about it. We need players who will play the 3-on-3 tournaments that lead up to the Olympics. We need players who will be in the 3-on-3 kind of tunnel that leads to the games. We don't do that. We don't ask our best players to do that. We need to change our attitude. For LA in 2028, we need to have the best players that can play.
Right.
We need to have NBA players.
Played at Venice Beach. Tim Kalishaw.
The only embarrassment is somebody on the Olympic Committee let this sport into the Olympics, kick something else out, and put in 3-on-3, which Blackistone and I used to play hoop it up down out here in the Dallas West End 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. Who cares about 3-on-3? We don't need more basketball. Olympics has all these great sports that we don't watch around the clock, around the calendar. We don't need 3-on-3.
Come on.
Get it out of there.
All right, Tim, we'll make it more interesting.
Horrible.
Should Dak Prescott be on the 3-on-3 team? Now would you be interested? Go
Yeah.
away. Clint Yates.
I was going to say, I'm sure Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson are available to play right down the street from where I live when the next Olympiad comes around. But I do think there is an element of culture here that's different. They play on sport courts. At these tournaments worldwide, they do things like three-point contests in between games. It is a little goofy. I can understand why the modern NBA athlete would not want to be a part of this, but I don't garner the same sense of embarrassment. That's on the men's side. On the women's side, though, I think it's just a matter of experience. They haven't played that much together. Other teams really do practice this. So the gelling that's supposed to happen at this level hasn't happened there. It's a shame because it is a fun sport to watch, in my opinion, regardless of what Tim thinks.
Evan Blackistone, back in the day, you were a big-time 3-on-3 player, all shoot, no pass. What do you make of our performance thus far?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Hoop it up. You know what? It's not been a good performance. You need chemistry, which is what Kevin Merida and Jerry Bembry and I had when we won some hoop it up contests back in the day. But you know what you got to do? Go to Gus Macker. Gus Macker tournament, the original 3-on-3 tournament in the United States has a national deal. They were before Hoop It Up. They're still happening. Get your team out of that. Have a national tournament to come up with the U.S. men's and women's 3-on-3 team, and I guarantee you that team will medal.
All right, I did some research this morning. I spoke with Fran Fraschilla. He is the senior advisor to the 3-on-3 team. He predicted we could get NBA players in the next Olympics in L.A. Bill, you're going to be there.
Wonderful.
Final word.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, we should never send a basketball team to the Olympics with Jimmer Fredette and three guys you never heard of. We just shouldn't do it. We're better than that.
You guys, you're all like negative sports writers. Why can't you guys be upbeat and positive like I always am? All right, let's go to the men's 5-on-5 team. Yesterday's win over South Crap matters. We're just trying to win every game, win a gold medal, and it's an incredibly pure feeling. And the roster in the lineup.
I'm buying Kerr completely. This is totally different. This is a man with a thankless task. Win a gold medal, everybody expects you to win, or be remembered as a disaster of a coach who couldn't get it done. Who cares? He doesn't have to treat these players like it's an all-star game. Oh, I got to get 8 minutes for Jason Tatum or Joel Embiid here. If they don't fit what they're trying to do to win, sit them on the bench. They should handle it.
Clinton?
Totally agreed. This is a non-controversy in my opinion. It's a coach coaching his team in a tournament to win the tuna melts, as we like to say. If some guy's got to take a seat for a game or two, who cares? You got a bunch of money because, hello, you're an NBA basketball player. This team is bought into this. And I think this is why Steve himself is actually a really good guy to do this, because people will listen to him and say, I get it. It's not personal. It's about the medal.
Evan Blackistone?
Yeah, I kind of like it. You turn on the TV to watch a team, you don't know who's going to start and who's coming off the bench. You got Kevin Durant, because of injury, obviously, coming off the bench one game, couldn't miss. Now you got Tatum about to play, an ISO guy, by the way, whose game is worldly, but I don't think an ISO game is necessarily for the movement of the international style of play. So you mix it up.
How do you think, Bill, how do you think Joel Embiid took this? Here's a guy that decided to play for us. They're playing against an African nation, and he gets a DMP.
If he wants to sacrifice like everybody else, he'll take it fine. What Steve Kerr is not saying, what everybody knows, is all this lineup changes. There's two players he will have to play and start every game. The two Lakers will lead his team to a championship. He will not bench LeBron. He will not bench AD. That's all that matters. They play, they'll win.
I'm going to bench you for that, but you know what? You're probably right. LeBron James is not getting benched. All right, buy or sell 3. Speaking of Bill, your Dodgers. Woof. Kershaw shelled last night by the Padres, who swept the 2-game series and won the season tilt against LA for the first time since 2010. Dodgers are still up 4.5 games, but their lead has nearly been cut in half over the last 10. Clinton, you paying more attention to the Dodgers or the Padres right now?
I have to be paying more attention to the Dodgers because the expectations have been higher from the beginning of the season. All this talk of they're not really the team they are because of injuries, well, those guys are still injured. They're trading for people who are injured, claiming that there's going to be some magical October run just because people come back. It hasn't happened in 4 years or in a full season at all. So, look, I'm a little worried about how this is going to come together in Chavez Ravine for Dave Roberts if something doesn't change quickly with the guys that are there.
All right, KB, Clinton is worried. Are you?
No, I'm not even thinking about the Dodgers. I'm thinking about the Padres. It's all about them. This was a team that we dismissed and laughed at a year ago with all that talent. Now they are 9. They've won 9 of their last 10, playing like gangbusters since the All-Star break. Everybody's hitting. The pitching is great. Just threw a no-hitter. What's not to like about what this team is doing? They play with a swagger, which you just saw against the Dodgers. So they are the team to talk about. And Tatis isn't even back right now. Come on.
All right, Bill, here's your chance to make excuses for the Dodgers. Go.
The Dodgers are going to be fine, Frank. They're going to be just fine. They're missing Mookie Betts. They're missing Max Muncy. They're missing Freddie Freeman. They're missing Yamamoto. They have injuries all up and down the lineup. When they all come back, they'll be fine. The Padres are the team I'm looking at. They have a batting champion. They have a no-hit pitcher. They have 2 all-star closers. They got a pretty good team here. I worry about them in October. I think they could do more than what we think they'll do.
Defending LeBron and Anthony Davis and the Dodgers, so you know what that means. It's a big time
where's
homer.
the homer button?
Tim Cowlishaw.
Thank you. I'll take it.
If it's August and the best thing you can say about your baseball team is they're missing this guy, they're missing this guy, they're missing this guy, is that really a great team? A.J. Preller keeps firing. He keeps the Padres involved. That's an interesting team to watch in the wild card.
Oh, man. We were talking so much about gymnastics. So, Kevin, you can do a backflip out of here. Tim, you could do a somersault. And instead of 3-on-3, we got a little 2-on-2. Clinton, who I think he's in Florida today. I'm not exactly sure. And Bill Plaschke. You know where he is.
I'll take it. Let's do it, baby. Let's go.
An update to Canada's drone gate. The team's appeal of their 6-point penalty denied yesterday, but they won again, going 3-0 in group play and advancing to the knockout round. Bill, is this a story of a team persevering or a story of a team cheating?
This is a story of a team cheating, Frank. The players didn't know about it. It doesn't matter. They still took advantage, unwittingly, unknowingly, took advantage of their coaches cheating. They shouldn't be in the Olympics. They should have been suspended. The team shouldn't even be there.
Clinton?
It's a story of a federation gone wrong. This started with the men, and it is something that happens a lot in soccer. This women's team is getting punished, in my opinion, unfairly and singularly for it. I'm very happy to see them actually managing to perform under such circumstances.
We could be looking at U.S.-Canada in a semifinal. Could be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm in a good mood. We'll split the point. All right. Showdown 2. The struggling Phillies swept by the Yankees this week. Lead in the NL East down to just 6.5 games over the Braves. Bryce Harper, mired in a 1-for-30 slump, said, "We've got to cowboy up and play the right way." Clinton, this may sound like a clown question, bro, but is this the Phillies' rut something or nothing?
I don't think it's anything. It's just the rut. It's the dog days of summer. They just got through banging out Bills Dodgers. And again, slumps happen. It's a better situation than injuries where guys are, I don't know, hanging out at NFL training camps instead of being on actual baseball fields.
Bill?
Nice Bryce Harper reference, Frank. Good job. Yes, they did hammer out the Dodgers. I saw that series. They're the best team in baseball that I've seen this year. I stand by that. They're going to be fine.
I like
They're loaded. They're fine.
That's how you do it. You compliment the host, but Clinton also took a shot at Bill, so he gets a point as well. All right, this will decide it. Showdown 3. Packers whiteout, reintroducing white helmets and the all-white jerseys for a Week 7 game this season. Bill, you're the fashion police. How do you rule?
Just what Green Bay needs to remind its fans that winter's coming before winter. Why are you doing this? You should have a green out. They have to live in winter for 4 months of hell. Don't have a white out in October. That's ridiculous.
Clinton?
Ancient African proverb, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Packers have one of the best helmets in the NFL. You do not need to go to the white look, especially because, hello, teams like the Browns have already done it. There's some good-looking white helmets in the league. The Bills and, of course, the Bengals. This one, unnecessary.
All right, Bill, you did mention winter, so we'll give you the point. You get the win. Have at it. Face it.
So baseball and softball return to the Olympics in 2028 in LA, and I'm pleading now with Major League Baseball to allow its players to play. Take a 10-day All-Star game break. Forget the All-Star game. Have the players play in the Olympics. It'll be like the World Baseball Classic. It'll be awesome. Shohei Ohtani against Paul Skeens. It'll be tremendous drama. Let the major leaguers play. This is important. Baseball needs this.
I like the idea. Clinton, I know you wanted to say something about Luol Deng and the job he's doing for the South Sudan.
The Dinka Warriors are for real, y'all. Luol Deng is a hero.
See you tomorrow.